Hello and good evening, everyone. So, welcome to the second episode of ProVachan. And technically, it's the first episode. First one is the intro and the launch by Abhiarya. And as promised, every week we'll be reaching you on this Facebook and YouTube live. And we'll be getting professionals who will do ProVachan, right? ProVachan, once again, is Pravachan by professional. Pravachan is a way of listening from learned people who have lived through that, and they will share their experiences, their guides, their tips and tricks, and their stories about their life, how they transform their life, and they are also helping others transform their life. So like me, I think most of the people in my network and people watching, most of them are into some profession, right? And normally it is very hectic for us. We instead of a life work balance, we talk about work life balance, and we give more to work, and life suffers in that way. So I have lived that life for quite some time, unhealthy habits, waking up 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning, and just brushing my teeth without breakfast, going to the office, then taking bath in the afternoon. So many things these are crazy, and these are sometimes it is considered cool also. So I started working up at 5 a.m. So I joined Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. club, and with all respect to my friend, somebody said I am also in the 5 a.m. club, and I said, oh really? And he said, look, I sleep at 5 a.m. So jokes apart, see, as I told, there should be a life work balance, not work life balance. What happens is, if you are not energetic, you don't do your task, you don't do your thing very nicely. Okay, if you let's say if you're not energetic, you are like a mobile phone with 10% battery and it's beeping, go to sleep, switch me off. Okay, or maybe you'll go to the power saver mode. So if you're not energetic, you go into power saver mode. So we have a supercharger here, will help us stay charged and stay charged faster. So I will invite Ashwin Chekava. We know him by Beach Yogi, and he's also learned by his guru. He has taken diksha from his guru, and he has learned it in the Himalayas and in many places. So I welcome Ashwin here. Welcome Ashwin to the show, and namaskar.
Thank you, Shivaram. It's always a pleasure to be talking to you, first of all, and also to be on the show, because I think it's
Great.
really going to change people's lives.
Definitely. Thanks for keeping my invitation and coming here. This is going to be value addition to our show, and also this content of the show is going to change many lives one step at a time. And I would like to have you on the show and many more times in the coming days. So let's get started, Ashwin. And as I was
Yeah,
telling, uh, staying healthy is very important, and I could relate that, that analogy, that if you're not energetic, you are operating in 10% battery, which can
that's
switch
really
off
good one.
anytime.
I love it.
And
Yeah,
you're on power saver mode. Actually, if you're not
yeah,
energetic, even your phone, it says switch off the internet, don't open heavy apps. Okay, and you can't do much, so you are always scared that in any moment it can go off. So if I'm not healthy from inside, if I'm not charged up, I am burned out. Actually, basically, there are so many terms, beautiful, sexier terms to that. That when I'm stressed, I am mentally stressed, physically stressed. I'm not feeling. I'm bored. I'm not getting motivation. But actually, see, motivation is directly linked to energy. Actually, sometimes a mother never gets never needs motivation to take care of the kids. If you're passionate, if you're really working on something, energy automatically comes. So
Mm,
here we should put our energy. What I understand from, actually I have met so many times, so I have taken so many learnings, and energy comes when you have putting things in the right thing, and we get burned out when we do outside the rules of the nature. So I invite you, and please help me, and anyone who's watching this in 5 of our channels, how to avoid burnout and stay energetic. So first of all, uh, I don't go to the definition, but how do you define energy, like in human energy?
human energy is the ability to uh, make your body cooperate to your mind.
Okay.
So match your body's capacity to your desires. That
Okay.
is human energy, you know. For example, if you want to start a business, you've really got to have a lot of energy, and you have to match your physical capacity to the kind of task that's in front of you. And if you fall short even a little, that task won't get done. So
Right.
therefore, you really need to manage your energy, and human energy is very dependent on human mind. These two are
Okay.
intricately linked, even medically so, and we'll learn little more in this show today.
Okay. Okay. So many people work beyond 8 hours, and it's not an excuse, but sometimes it demands that entrepreneurs like who is starting up or who runs an agency, who runs a huge business, who is managing 100 people. They say that even if I have 100 people, I have to
Hmm.
spend more than the time. Like if they are spending 8 hours, I have to spend 20 hours. So
Hmm.
is it required first of all?
Not at all. See, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 13. I had the
Okay.
good fortune to have good mentors, and I have never worked more than 2 hours a day.
Okay.
My entire entrepreneurship journey, and even now, I don't work more than 2 hours a day. So it's
that
very
that
much
reminds
possible.
me that reminds me like when I started my business in 2002, my grandma, she came to Bhubaneswar, my like hometown, and she said, okay, how many people work for you? I
Hmm.
said, that time four people were there. I said, four
Hmm.
people work for me. She asked, if four people are working for you, why you are working?
She should be one of ProVachans.
Wait,
Amazing.
he's not in this world
Yeah,
anymore, but
yeah,
yeah,
I know.
that makes sense actually. So let's
That's
get into
amazing.
this our conversation, and let us take the primary topic: how to avoid burnout and stay
Hmm.
energetic. So, my first question is, why does burnout happen actually?
Okay, it's a good question because we really need to understand like what is burnout and why it happens. So medically, burnout is excess of electrolytes in your body,
Okay,
or rather a reduction of electrolytes in your body. So therefore, you don't have energy because they carry electricity to your organs, and they also are like very very important for the movement of blood. The charges in the blood is very important for it to move properly. So this starts falling. First, it rises. The amount of electrolytes rises. Then you'll be like really high energy. And after some time, the adrenal glands stop producing that much adrenaline because they run out of it. It takes a lot of nutrition also to produce adrenaline, and people are not having that kind of nutrition. And then because the warriors, they're actually like warriors. Warriors are in stress all the time, right? Who'll kill me from which side? So as somebody in the army is constantly wired up, after they leave the army they can't relax because they're
okay,
always in the stress. So something like that, people but for them the diet is very important. The army takes care to give them the right kind of food so they don't burn out. But if you're not eating like a warrior and you're behaving like a warrior, you'll burn out all your adrenaline. Then there's a slump that is called hypoadrenal function, right?
okay,
So the adrenal gland is no longer producing the adequate amount of cortisol and adrenaline, which is what gets us up and gets us moving. And if you're not producing that, people feel burnt out. They're just like, I can't do anything anymore. I give up. I'm feeling suicidal. Also, another reason for burnout is low sugar. So
okay,
it's called hypoglycemia. When people experience low sugar, they have these really bad moods. Uh,
mhm.
do you know that 100% of the people who went on shooting sprees in
Okay,
America, all those kids shooting other kids and all that happened, right?
yeah, yeah,
The When the medical tests were taken, they were all in very low sugars, like 60. So
okay,
that's the point when people just get desperate and they do something with the last energy. They do something, So we'll get into that kind of desperation, and depending on what we believe, we might be very violent to people. And this is happening. People are constantly getting angry and shouting. It's a sign that you're going to burn out soon. Soon you'll have no energy left. So when you see your mood dipping and rising, dipping and rising, dipping and rising, psychologically you'll get the diagnosis of manic depressive or bipolar. But
okay,
but that is a harbinger of what is to come, which is adrenal burnout. So when your
Okay.
adrenals are burnt out, then that's it. You can't really do anything. You don't have the motivation to do anything. Even your testosterone levels will fall. You'll lose muscle mass, and you'll turn into a shadow of your former self.
Okay. Okay. So there is so much into it. If
Mm.
I think, like, the way you told that, body and mind is connected, this is really, like, eye opening. And
Mm.
so why does it happen? Like, and like, how do, sorry, how do you know that, you are burning out actually?
Mm. So the signs and symptoms of burning out are: number one is irritability. If you see that
Okay.
happening, if you catch yourself getting irritated constantly, it's time to get medical attention, because you're going to end up with, and hypoadrenal stress is very hard to fix once it happens. In conventional medicine, they can't fix it. Only in yoga it can be fixed properly. There's no other way to fix it. Mm.
So I
So
have heard you saying that, actually science doesn't heal anything. So can you just, like, before we go deep into our session, kindly
mm.
enlighten, because we set a context with that.
So here's the thing: you can know all the science in the world, but unless you know how to apply it, you can't heal anything, right? I also use science. But when I make a blood chemistry analysis, it's very different from what the doctors do, because they're not trained for it. I did a special course on how to read blood chemistry analysis. Then I learned how to apply all these numbers. If you go to Thyrocare or something and you do a lab test, they have packages. So you do one of those packages, you get a lot of words you've never heard before. And
Exactly.
sometimes even the doctors don't know what it is. If you ask them, what is the function of LPA2, then they're like, I don't know, because how can they remember so much, right? So that's why the people just can scan through the report looking for key stuff, whether they have infection or not. And there's some simple stuff they can read. But when we get
Right.
into the details, we start understanding it like a story. So you have to take science and you have to mix it with your humanness, which
Okay.
is your ability to see everything as a story. That's what makes us human. Because even if we see a cloud, we make a story around it. Oh, this looks like an elephant, this looks like that, you know. So we are like story making machines. And if you link it to your life story, then only the person is going to get cured. If they don't understand why they got that way, then they have to identify the behaviors. Oh, this started like this. I was irritated with this employee, and the reason is this feeling started long back. And then they'll realize when they started burning out, because nobody starts business with low enthusiasm. I don't know anybody who says, "Oh, let me start a business." No, they're like, "I'll do
No.
this, I'll do that," and then suddenly everything is burnt out. Within 1 year, the stresses of the business have taken its toll, and even family life, relationship, everything has been spoiled by this
So true.
effect. I was a victim of it, and my father was a victim of it. So I've seen this up close. This is a very serious matter.
Yeah, I can relate to it, because sometimes, like, people are successful but they are not humble, they are not pleasant, they are not, like, like, in a human being to talk to listen to. Forget about listening,
Mm.
like, talking to them and they will listen. But they have money, they
Grumpy.
have, like,
Mm.
they have, like, an externally good health, but talking to them is a pain, and they are
Yeah,
always
yeah,
irritated, they'll be shouting, and I don't know how they behave with their family members, but they are not people to go work with. And so that is a unhealthy mental state, I feel, like, and at the same time we have seen people who are so composed, so balanced, and they are always pleasant, they're always in, like, in a good, you get a positive energy from them, I think, because of this, right? So there is a
true.
good correlation between these two. Great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
So it does it come from, like, it starts with mental thing or it starts with physical?
Always starts with the mental thing, because our thoughts are out of control. In yoga, we
Okay.
say that our thoughts are controlled by our karmas. So
Okay.
when we say karma, it sounds like a very vague thing, but in yoga, it's well defined, isn't it? Karma
Yeah.
is like your automatic neurological patterns are called karma. How they
Okay.
come is they come from various sources. Some we get it from our ancestors. Every animal has a safety library. Like lizard knows when to run. It's got a reference. So it's always
Right, right.
referring this safety library and says, okay, this situation matches emergency, run.
Run. Yeah.
It won't run till the last moment when it switches on. You can see it, no? Lizard,
Yeah.
cockroach, everything has it. They've inherited that safety library from the ancestors. They don't know about human beings. They might be seeing a human being for the first time, but still they'll take precautions when you come near. So
Yes.
the reason for that is they've inherited from the ancestors. Human beings will catch your tail and they'll smash your head. So that information is there inside, right? So
Yes,
that's
yes, yes.
why we start responding. Now, are all human beings going to catch your tail and smash your head? No. So that
Okay.
discrimination comes from the higher parts of the brain. Our lower
Okay.
part of the brain is identical with the lizard. In fact, it's called the reptilian brain.
Right,
The
right, right.
second part of the brain is the limbic system, and that we share with all mammals. That's the ability to feel emotions and feel empathy.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the third level of the brain is the one where you can actually choose your actions. You have control over to inhibit certain urges, and you have control to overcome certain resistances in your brain. That has to be from the higher parts of the brain. Now, guess what? The higher part of the brain is energy expensive because it is higher. It has a greater processing power. So, just like our devices, we have a battery saver mode. I was
Yeah.
laughing when you said that because that analogy is perfect. And the reason why it's perfect is because all machines are based on us only. So
Yeah,
by
correct.
observing us, we have made all the machines. So then, we go into a saving mode. Our whole evolution has evolved. We must save energy. We should not waste it because you don't know what next emergency is going to come. We have to keep abundance of energy. Naturally, every animal is energetic. Have you seen? Only
Yes,
the
yes.
ones that live with humans, they start turning
Lethargy.
like they become like us because they're following our routine and are listening, feeding off our energy. So
So they're induced with our lethargy, our patterns, and all this stuff.
correct.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So here, there is a saying that if you need to go to a dentist, okay, your tooth is already rotten actually. It
Hmm,
normally it doesn't pain till it is rotten. Okay.
hmm, hmm,
Either if you are getting sense like it is sensitive, like very sensitive, that is different. But the moment you get pain in your tooth means something is already gone.
hmm,
So you should actually identify till what level we are burnt out, or is it like curable immediately, or how long it takes to get killed. So what are the degrees and stages of being burnt out?
hmm. So okay, absolute first stage of being burnt out is that I mean, the whole thing starts when you start having negative thoughts.
Okay.
We call it ants, automatic negative thoughts.
Okay.
So when you
Okay.
start having ants in your brain, then you should start thinking like, I was a positive person when I started the business, and now what is happening to me? So your alarm bell should go off right then and get the help that you need right then. If you wait, then it'll start into constant irritation, and your ego will take over, and you'll think other people are to blame for your sorry state of affairs. Nobody's to blame except us, right? For our state of affairs. We have to take that responsibility. But the second stage is when you find fault with others. Be aware of this. If you're going on finding fault of others, you're in the second stage of burnout. So it starts with ants, and then you find fault with others, and then finally you start to have outbursts. This is the third stage where there will be uh, showdowns with people. You'll irritate, you'll say something, their ego will get hurt, and then you'll yell back at them, and those kind of things. That this happens even within relationships and marriages as well. People can get burnt out there as well. So there's a lot of similarity between that and business.
Mm-hmm.
And the next stage after that is that you will start having sleep disturbances, and you'll have digestive issues. This is a clear indication. If you got digestive issues, you're already in stage 4. You probably had 2 3 outbursts already, and then you'll have acidity, then you'll have constipation, all sorts of digestive problems will start happening, and you will not absorb enough nutrition from your blood, and the mineral deficiency problems will start coming. For example, you will start losing zinc, you'll start losing magnesium. So then your
Okay.
energy levels will just keep falling because these are the electrolytes that keep us alive, right? All of these things inside our blood, sodium, potassium. ions. These ions are keeping us. That's what gives us the zing, because we have
Okay.
all this electricity moving inside us. So
Yes,
it's
yes,
like liquid electricity. Ions are liquid
okay.
electricity. So that
Yes,
liquid
yes.
electricity is what we call prana. And
Okay.
your prana levels will start falling down, and then you could end up with an addiction. So like
Okay.
smoking, junk food, drinking, or any other kind of drugs. Like
Okay.
coffee is also an addiction. Sometimes people have 7 cups coffee, 8 cups coffee. Then if you are compulsively reaching for something, you reach a very advanced stage. From here, very soon your energy is going to crash. Some people are just alive by their teas. If they don't have the
Mm.
tea, they can't work. You know. So that's
Ah.
another watch out point. If you're getting addicted, you reach like very close to burnout, and then finally you'll start burning out. Like you'll
People
not
say
have sleep.
I don't. Yeah, people say no. I don't. If I didn't have my afternoon tea, I get headaches, or
Yes, yes.
something like that.
These are sure short signs of burnout. Yeah. If you have any of these symptoms, sure short sign of burnout. You'll start putting on weight if you eat. If you get addicted to junk food, you'll start putting on weight as well. And
Okay.
invariably, everyone puts on weight because food gives you comfort. Food makes you feel better, and people are eating to feel better instead of for nutrition. They're starting to eat to feel better, and
Right.
that's
Right.
a very good indicator. Some people lose weight because they're addicted to other things like smoking and alcohol, and they're not eating as much. So they're
Uh-huh.
getting malnutrition, and this is a formula. It's a disaster, right? Because for the body to detox all of the toxins that you're now even junk food
Accumulating.
has a lot of toxins. Okay, so
Right.
the things, ingredients that are toxic to the body are going into the body, and you cannot detox them because you're not absorbing your minerals properly. A lot of minerals are required to detox, and you just end up people get tumors, people get PCOD, that
Okay.
is polycystic ovarian disorder, where a cyst forms on the ovaries. Then women don't have their periods for 2 years, 3 years, you know. So all these cases come to me on a daily basis. I'm just seeing it, and I can all be taken down to that ants, automatic
Right.
negative thoughts that are happening. If we don't treat it, then you will, this 5 years down the line, it takes 5 years from here to here. 5 years
Okay.
the person is burnt out.
So out of this four levels you mentioned,
Hmm.
can we prevent before that, or if it has already happened? I'll ask mix both the questions. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
when to start preventing. Like of course, like before you know that you are burning out, you should prevent it. But what are the precautions we should take, and how to recover if I know that I'm burning out and I'm in level 1, 2, or 3 or 4?
Hmm. 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 No, I mean, now with all my experience, I can answer this question. I wish I knew these things when I was starting out. Because if I were to start out afresh again now, what I would do is make a list of my automatic negative thoughts first, and then
Okay.
resolve them before I start anything. Because if you
Okay.
have a resistance, internal resistance inside, and you ignore it by being macho, then that's where you should start. And if you notice any of the symptoms that I just mentioned, like you're
Yes.
starting it to get irritable and all that, get in touch with a professional and get it fixed, because this is not normal. This is not how you were when you were a child, when you were in school and college. Try to
True.
compare your behavior with when you were not stressed.
Right.
If you have any such, I know some people's whole life has been stress, but check your behavior with somebody who's relaxed. And there are very
Yes.
few adults who are relaxed. You have to look to children to see how to relax.
Right. Very true.
They also have
Very true.
pressures, but they learn how to relax and they just chill. So we can learn from them, and
Yeah.
there's a lot to learn from kids.
Very nice. And I probably once this life is over, basically, this live session is over, help us with a checklist or something. I would love to put it in a blog format and put it for the benefit of the audiences.
That's a great idea.
Because
I'll do that.
these
Yeah.
ants are very nice actually. This automatic negative thought. If ants are biting you, then you should take the
Take
indication.
action when it's only an ant bite. Don't wait for it to become cancer. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly, exactly. This is so much of valuable. So how to recover, how to recover from this? If I'm I'm already in it.
Hmm. So I tried many methods. I tried homeopathy. There's a branch of homeopathy. Not strictly, it's not homeopathy, but it was invented by a guy called Bach. And there are
Okay.
these flower remedies. So he started treating the flower the homeopathic way and potencizing it. And that is one of the somewhat semi-effective ways to manage your stress. People still use it all over the world. So that's one of the options which I had. I've tried it, but it doesn't work so good. And
Okay.
the other way to manage your stress is, some people take to exercise and all, and it does help. Because if you're going to the gym and lifting your weight, no, so you somewhat your frustrations calm down for a bit. But those ants will again lift the frustration up. So
Okay.
when the cause is the ants, we should not be treating the symptoms. Oh, body
Ah,
is low energy. Let me take nutrition. This, that. You got to treat the mind. And the way to treat the mind to remove ants is a process which I teach. It's called karmic removal.
okay.
So in yoga, strictly, it's called karma visarjana. Okay, we
Okay.
are removing all the automatic negative patterns from your body, so that you don't have what is called viruddha karma. You only have what is called prarabdha karma. What you came here on this earth to do, it's already there in your DNA and in your heart. Your body is shaped according to what you came to do, but we don't pay so much attention to our body. Our body has all the information that we need. So I teach people how to pay attention to the body and understand what these ants are doing to the body, and also catch the symptoms, and resolve these things. They
Okay.
all can be resolved. Everything can be resolved. So the moment you resolve your ants, you're never going to be sick. If you assuming that you're eating at home and not outside, then you should maintain some really good health if you're able to resolve at that level. So
Okay.
that's one of the. Hmm.
Sorry to interrupt. This prarabdha karma is like opening balance, right? Like you
Yes.
come to this earth with some good karma, good DNA. So unfortunately, some people are not blessed to have a healthy life from the beginning.
Hmm.
They get some diseases even if they from the childhood, and probably
Hmm.
it came as a opening balance, negative opening balance, I'll say.
Hmm. Hmm.
But in such cases, is it possible? Is miracle possible, and we can turn that bad health to a good health with
Yes.
yoga
Yes.
and
Yes.
the
Yes.
methods?
Yes, of course. You don't have to look far. I'm a prime example of this. I was born without a gene that makes the body to detox. So for the first few years of my life, my liver absorbed everything. But to detox the liver, a certain gene is required, which I don't have. And I did a genetic test for it, and I realized that's why my whole childhood I was sick. Something or the other
Okay.
serious disease all the time. And I managed to resolve that with yoga. Yoga can make genetic changes. The processes that we use are so powerful, meditative processes, not physical asanas. Meditative processes are so powerful, the visualizations and everything, that we can change gene structure and sequencing just like that. And today I'm able to detox. And I have the medical proof for all of this. It's
Okay.
not like unscientific what I'm talking, right? A lot of people say that yoga can change genes, but I've seen living proof of it in me. And then I've had several patients, at least 10 or 15 patients, who got the wrong end of the stick, like they were. So what happens is, if your mother has a lot of toxins, then she will pass on a lot of toxins to your child liver when you are in her womb, and
Yeah.
you'll come out with those toxins. That's why before having a child, the lady needs to get a checkup and make sure that she's in perfect health. But people are
Yeah.
not doing that. They're just having kids. So unfortunately, some of the toxins, for example, DDT was a fertilizer used
Yes.
before,
Yes. Yes.
and it's very toxic. It's like poisonous for the human body, and people were eating that food sprayed with that pesticide. And children born in the between 50s to, let's say, 80s, that all children born in that age were carrying DDT in their liver, and they passed
Okay.
it on to the next generation. So even
Okay.
now, children being born have some amount of DDT in the liver. But if large amounts got passed on by some chance, the child is going to be sick it's going to be always sick. Something's going to
Yeah.
happen. Someone's got to get to the root cause and figure it out, and that's what I also do. By
So
reading the blood reports, you can know what the problem is. So it's solvable. Everything is solvable.
okay. So
Mm.
what is the biggest barrier for recovering? Is it a
Biggest
mental
barrier
barrier,
for recovery.
identifying the problem, or not believing in this technique, or what is it? Or not believing the ancient
It,
healing methods, or
yeah.
being like uber modern and thinking that getting a Red Bull will get me energy.
Oh, no, no. That is such a terrible thing to do. Anyway, so I mean, nutritionally, that's really bad thing to do. But to answer your question, the uh, most difficult thing for people is to accept that the problem is with them. That all
Okay.
of the mental irritation and all of that stuff is happening because of them, not somebody else. This
Right.
shift, to create the shift, needs a lot of skill. But as a healer, if you can make this shift for anybody, then they will overcome any obstacle. It's not that people look down on yoga. In this country, people have respect, and everyone who comes to me, they've always treated me with utmost respect. Unlike other alternate healers, like Reiki practitioners, astrologers, tarot readers, people go to them, but they don't treat them with respect. But Ayurveda and yoga has got respect in this country, so we don't have a
Definitely.
problem, and we have
Definitely.
no GST.
Definitely. And yes, like you are the beach yogi, and you are a perfect blend of science, modern thing, ancient thing. You also know about Vedas. So I
Yeah.
know how, when, okay, I think you are still learning certain new things to apply to yourself, to your followers and people who come for help, right? So
Learning never ends.
yeah, this ant thing, and actually you told about two things. We used to use DDT to kill ants in the crop. So what is the DDT? What is the DDT for these ants?
The DDT for this ants is karma visarjana, getting rid of
Okay.
those negative patterns. But it's not like DDT. It's not toxic. It's a natural herb. It's a natural insect killer.
It's only toxic for the ants. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, how to support someone who has already burnt out at some level? Is it
Mm.
directly coming to a healer like you? And what kind of support structure he or she needs?
Mm.
Family, friends, work environment, or mental state? What kind of input should go to his mind or her mind?
I think here love is the answer.
Okay.
You have to actually love that person, and they have to feel your affection, and you need a certain skill of understanding that they're sick and not taking what they're saying personally.
Uh-huh.
So when someone is really losing it at you, I regret it now. I've seen this happen with my dad, and I say I'll never act like this, and I've acted exactly like that. And now
Hmm.
I understood what was actually happening with him. But that
Okay.
relationship was spoiled forever, and now he's no more. So I can't do anything about it. So it leaves
Okay.
such a heavy heart for people if you don't deal with these things as and when they happen. It can
Right.
give you a lifetime of regret.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, compassion and love is what these people need when they're burning out. You need to and you got to keep it in the front of your mind that they're not well. And if they are I don't know, like physically ill, we take a lot of care of people, but when they're mentally ill, we get hurt, and our ego is hurt, and then everyone's mental health goes downhill. Okay.
Very
And the
true. Very
second thing
true.
is, to give love and support, like you also should have that inside you. You should not be stressed. Two
Yes.
stressed people trying to help each other is like two people who don't know how to swim trying to save each other when they fall into the water. Both are going to die.
Yeah, yeah. They'll pull each other, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, what kind of techniques you use to heal such people?
So one of the techniques and one of the most effective techniques, like again, I'm telling you, is the karma visarjana thing where we take off the patterns. The second technique I use is nutrition, because after reading their blood reports, I see so many mineral deficiencies, so many vitamin deficiencies. I give them the specific molecules required for them to recover for 3 months, and within 3 months, most people are okay. They don't have any problem at all, and they'll be able to maintain that for the rest of their life, which is such a great gift, you know. And exercise. I do a special form of exercise. You can see these things around me, right? These Indian clubs.
Yeah.
This one is the bomb for taking out internal organ damage. So you
Okay.
can see these are small ones. I will not use this big one. This one is
Okay.
only to build strength like a bull. This one,
Okay. Oh,
right?
oh
But the
my
small
God.
one is about 12 kgs or something. But
Okay.
they look big, but they're not so heavy. But still,
Okay.
the smaller ones are just 2 3 kgs. When you work with those small ones, you can create movements in your internal organs and allow prana to flow again. That liquid electricity starts flowing properly. Otherwise, it gets stuck. So if a lot of charge gets stuck at one organ, it starts to uh, make that organ overwork. So people who
Okay.
have a
Okay.
lot of charge stuck at the pancreas, for example, they'll get diabetes problems probably. Or if it goes to the liver, then they actually, if it goes to liver, that's more likely that they'll get diabetes. And
Mhm.
so you can see. But when I look at somebody, if I take my hands on them, we can also do this. When we rub our hands together, you can feel that electricity,
Yeah. Yeah.
bioelectricity. I'm not touching my hands, but still I'm feeling this bioelectricity. Here's another point: if you bring your finger near to
Yeah.
your what we call third eye, you start feeling this electricity. So this electricity has to be feel like a flow. You have to
Actually,
feel like a river.
I use this technique to check whether my son has slept or not. Actually, slept or not.
Ah, okay.
I do this. He has
How? Tell
closed
me.
his eyes. I do
Oh,
this.
you do like this, then he'll open his eyes.
Yeah, he will open his eyes. If he has really slept, he will not never open
Yeah,
his eyes.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
he is
yeah,
like,
yeah.
just falsely sleeping. He will look at it. "क्या कर रहे हो?" I said, "No, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm just testing." So you are absolutely
It's very
right.
interesting. I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
These points which are around the body, they have 6 nerve junctions, and in
Okay.
Sanskrit they're called ants, varmam.
Okay. Okay.
So these points, these nerve junctions where you can feel the energy, they are
Yeah.
called. There are so many all over your body. 108 points are there where they have 6 legs. When you take out the nerves, it looks like an ant. So they're called ant in Sanskrit.
Okay, we have a visitor who is also the pro for the next week. Mr. Amar Krishna Jha is here, and he has a question. So next session is with Amar Bhai, and that is on a completely different topic, but that is equally going to be sexier and like this. So he has a question: is it possible to speed up healing?
Yes, yes, absolutely. You just have to do 2 things. One is get the immune system to work properly, and number two, the immune and lymphatic system, they work together, right? So that is one system you need to focus on if you want to speed up healing. And the second is the detoxification system, which involves the liver and the kidneys and all of the skin pores. So if you can make these work properly, the person gets better really fast. I've cured COVID cases in just like uh, 2 days with
Okay,
vitamin D and silver hydrosol. I
okay,
supported the immune system and I supported the deficiency in vitamin D. Vitamin D
okay,
is also useful for taking out toxins in the body. So just with vitamins, you can do this. Yeah, it's possible, definitely,
okay,
100%.
okay. Okay. And what are the things like, before, like, we go to the other chit chats, I would also like to know that, and if somebody wants to reach out to you for physical or emotional healing, okay. And shall I, like, disclose the healing triangle you are coming up with?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I already did that. Okay, so Ashwin is coming up with a unique technique, basically proven technique, which he has invented is called healing triangle. The healing triangle. Would you like to share about that? And can
Sure.
people get in touch with you for the getting like an emotional, physical healing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's why I exist. Please get in touch. I'm happy to
Okay.
do this. Yeah. So, anyway, the healing triangle is based on the 3 points that I found. This is like a triangle, like an equilateral triangle. You can't disturb any side. If you take one side off, the healing will stop. So the first side is the side of accurate diagnosis. If your
Okay.
diagnosis is not accurate, then you'll be beating around the bush, treating the wrong things. Person never gets better. And this is common in 90% of the cases that I have seen. They have been like 90% of the people who come to me have been misdiagnosed, and they not got an accurate diagnosis. Second part of the triangle is your movement and breathing, because this is really important. If you want to stay fit, if you want to stay healthy, you have to move and breathe. And the body is designed for moving. The body is not designed to sit on a computer. So
Right.
we have to move at least for an hour a day to feel like human beings, to keep our alignment properly, to make our body language one of conquerors instead of the ones who get conquered. And the third thing is the karmic redressal, to kind of restructure your automatic nervous responses. Once you do these three parts, boom, the person starts healing. And I've healed like so many cases. And today I was listening to some of my patients, and I'm amazed at the results myself, because people are talking about conditions that they had for 20 years and is gone within 15, 20 days. So that's how effective we have become with the healing triangle. So I think it's a invention, medical invention that will change a lot of people's lives.
I find a very, like, very strong resemblance of what I studied last week in my from my guru.
Mm,
And in Bhagavad Gita 3.8, it says,
mm,
Niyatam kuru karmatva karma jayo hi akarmanah sarira yatrapi charte na prasiddho yat karmanah. Means your body also is designed in such a way that you have to move to digest your food,
mm,
and there are certain things that is required to
mm.
do this thing. So this is so much, like, meaningful for me, and I can so much relate to this healing triangle. You are
Yep, yep, yep.
creating a perfect 60-degree each triangle for like
Yeah.
healing.
So, after you say this, I must humbly admit that I did not invent this. This has been part of our tradition. It's called the Siddha Trikona, the triangle of healing. It's been
Okay,
there for,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So a part of it is movement, definitely. And it's like you can see it reflected in all of these warrior textbooks,
Ha,
like
ha, ha.
Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is like an advice against burnout. Arjuna was burning out.
Oh yes. First chapter is only about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
It's
was
like a
escaping.
textbook for burnout.
He was escaping. He was, like, making excuses. Then he was trying to convince Krishna, ke, why should I kill, why should I do my, I can, you have only tell that, human soul is like this. Okay, so many excuses, like a kid. Okay, there are, Shriyans knows both of us. He says, good to see you both together. Yes, we have been, like, our, Ashwin and me meet sometime without any purpose, just to, like, transfer some good energy,
Yeah.
and we are, like, good friends now. And Ashwin, Shriyans is asking, like, when are you launching the? I think, as far as I know, Shriyans, Ashwin is launching very soon.
Mm.
He actually gets busy with his people around him who come to him for healing, so he gives that a priority. But
No, Shibaram, I think the question is how long is the course to heal? So the answer is about 2 to 3 months. That's it.
yeah, also apart from that, you need to tell us, like, you need to give us that course.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am
yeah,
also
yeah, yeah,
waiting for that.
yeah, yeah. Of course, of course.
Yeah. So when are you launching? Like, give us a commitment so that we can follow you. It's no more
December
for you.
15th.
It's no more for you. It's for us now.
December 15th, for sure, 100%.
Okay. Okay. December 15th chance.
It's close by. It's just
Okay.
16 days away. Next moon
Yes.
cycle, next new moon.
Yeah. So healing triangle. I'm also looking for Ashwin, and
Mm.
in fact, I had asked one of my team member to get in touch with you,
Yes,
because
yes.
miracles are possible, and I can very much see from your energy.
Thank you.
So yeah. Okay, Abhas is here. He's from Profit Funnel. Okay, good to see you, some old pals. Okay, my last question of the day.
Mm.
Can I share your number to my audience with your
Yes,
permission?
yes, please go ahead. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for
So,
sure. I'm really happy to talk to anyone about their health and energy. It's really not an issue. Yeah.
okay, so this is Ashwin's number. and probably I should put it. This is flash in the screen. Get in touch to him via WhatsApp, because most of the time he is either meditating or with somebody or healing somebody. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's right.
he is not a 24-hour WhatsApp guy, but he will revert to your messages from my experiences. Uh, he is full of energy, and just talking to him actually makes me feel so much lighter. I had some honest session with him when we are doing professional talk. I stole some time and I discussed my problems, and he could actually heal it on a Zoom call without giving any hi-fi techniques, and this works actually. So
Thanks, Shubham.
Mohit says, how do yoga and tantra differ in their healing principles?
Okay, that's a good question. Now, yoga and tantra come from the same person, Shankar Nath. So the principles are pretty much the same. And Vajraguru was another person who gave tantric principles. So his healing is very different from the Hindu tantra. This is Buddhist tantric healing is very different from Hindu tantric healing. Hindu tantric healing and yoga are pretty much see eye to eye on everything. But Buddhist tantric healing is about awakening a force inside you called Vajra, and that is it's another approach, which is also cool, very very useful, but it's a long term approach. Doesn't give short term results.
Okay, Pravalini says Ashwin helps me daily to deal with my new ripened karma. Very nice, Pravalini.
She's taken up my uh, healing triangle program.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I used to
Thanks,
communicate with
Bali.
him daily and he heals in seconds. Yes, I have experienced that. And probably see the very reason I thought of inviting Ashwin, because these angles nobody covers. These are like hidden treasures, and this gives you the secret recipe to be successful, be energetic, and be on 90% power, not on power saver mode.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I love that. I love that analogy. It's perfect.
Yes.
I'm going to
Okay.
steal it.
Any more questions? Yeah. Yeah. Sure. 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 We'll use it in the ad angles.
Awesome.
Okay. It actually comes naturally, Ashwin, and I don't have to think about it,
Of course, it's your profession. Yeah,
because
I've
I
seen it.
think how it can help me, because if I am not in energy, I'm lethargic. I'll be okay. Okay, I'll switch off my camera in a Zoom.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. Yeah,
Okay, so any more questions? It's already 9:48, and Ashwin sleeps and wake up early. I
it's true.
also wake up early. Even if I'm on a Sunday, I wake up at 5 o'clock. So any more question, guys? We can take question for if 10 more minutes if you are.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, Ashwin, your tips are helping me a lot, and
Ah,
I'm honest to like, and I can convince that smoking, staying away from smoking, was like I will confess that it has not gone away, but it has reduced a lot just by
yeah.
doing that technique. And
Ah,
I woke up at 5 o'clock today.
hmm,
Okay, I prepared for. I did my team work. Then I cooked in the daytime because it's my son's birthday.
hmm.
5 o'clock I had a co-start live. Then nine
Hmm.
o'clock I have the thing. I have to go and study and sleep at 11. I wake up at 5 o'clock, and I'm still beaming with energy, thanks to a mixture of everything and a association of people like you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. Revati says Vajra and Shaman both are Buddhist healing. Okay. If you have any problems, roadblocks, just think of Ashwin. Yes, Ashwin is a sweetheart.
Thanks,
I
Gopi.
take this liberty to address you like a friend, Ashwin.
Of course. You are my friend.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Okay, if we don't have any questions, we'll say good night. And Ashwin, I will invite you to do a guest blogging in our platform
Hmm.
on detailed thing, and whenever you are comfortable, and whenever healing triangle is launched, let us know. We'll let our viewers
Oh, I'll
know.
get this done for you. Don't worry. I have a team now.
Sure, sure, sure. Great, great, great. Then, so Ashwin, thanks for being here and sharing your valuable time and being the first pro part of the ProVachan. Okay, and
Yes.
yeah, okay. So yes, Ashwin is one of the most genuine spiritual healers out. Yes, yes. Personal experience is ability in Panchakosha course. Okay, Sriyans, I know your secrets now. Okay.
Thanks,
Sriyans is
Shreyas.
a lovely guy.
Yeah.
I hope to see you in person, Sriyans, sometime. So good night from both of us, guys. And hold on, I have an announcement to make. Next week, Mr. Amar Krishna Jha, who is a marketing genius, a great human being, a guy with great sense of humor and wittiness, and a copywriting expert is coming as a pro, part of the guru or the pro of the ProVachan, and he will be talking about how to write for your digital mediums. It can be a website copy, it can be web copy, how to write an email, and that like he is a like best guy to have fun with. Like he will, every word of him is a teaching. Like Ashwin, actually Ashwin, I did not realize it has already 51 minutes have passed. Okay,
Yeah.
and we can go on like if we are like 5 a.m. sleeping guy, we can do it till 2 a.m. But both of us have to sleep and have to say
Yeah.
good night. So next week, guys, we are coming up with another session, another episode of ProVachan. It will be with Amar Krishna Jha. And let me show you the topic. So next week's topic is this. Let me share. Just give me a moment. Ashwin, sorry to hold you for a moment.
No
Just
worries. No worries.
yeah. So next week is copywriting tips, resources, and cheers on beers with Amar Krishna Jha. Okay, he's a marketing consultant and an author, a very close person to my heart, and a mentor. And he's one of the guys who doesn't. Ashwin, sorry to hold you for a moment.
No worries. No worries.
So see you on in the next episode of ProVachan next week with Amar Krishna Jha and Ashwin. Thanks once again and good night. And we'll
Good
catch
night.
you again and again. And thank you so much for being here. This
Thank you,
makes
Shivara.
me so feel so special that you are here. And I'm sure like this video will reach to so many people. And in coming days, they will get benefited even just by watching this video. Okay. And thank you so much and good night,
All
guys.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And Amar Bhai, thank you for being here in the show. He says, thanks, Bhai. And see you in the next Saturday. We'll have a party with you in the next evening, next Saturday evening. Okay, bye and good night. So I end this session.